Next up is the Detroit Lions, who are back-to-back NFC North champions. I'm trying to find the last time the Lions went back-to-back champions of their division. I don't believe it's ever happened. Maybe it's happened. Actually, no, it happened 1953 and 1954.
Okay,
What was the last time the Lions went back-to-back?
Pre-merger. Darn well pre-merger.
Pre-Super Bowl era.
Yeah.
So it's been a very, very long time. And yes, they did lose their star offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson, going over to be the head coach of their division rival, no less than the Chicago Bears. But even with a new OC, Dalton and John Morton, they still should have an explosive offense.
I mean, I think you still have to look at what they have, right? One of the best tackle duos in football in Decker and Sewell, right? You still have Jared Goff as long as he's protected. He's played very solid football the last 3 years. Gibbs and Montgomery in the backfield, St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta, Tim Patrick, Isaac Tesla now. You just still have so many weapons on this offense. And the question will be if John Morton can get as creative as Ben Johnson did, or if he can find a way to simplify things and still have the efficient offense that they've had the last few years in Detroit. But when you look at just the offensive talent that they have, as long as Goff is protected, there's no reason they shouldn't still have an explosive offense.
Absolutely, yeah. So even with a new OC, they should still have a really good offense in 2025. And the defense did let them down last year with a lot of injuries on that side of the ball. Should be getting a superstar back, though, in Aiden Hutchinson, who was fan-freaking-tastic last year when he was on the field. He looked like he was on his way to a Defensive Player of the Year before going down with a fractured tibia and fibula in Week 6. 72 pass rush wins in the first 6 weeks of the season, the most ever by a defender in the first 6 weeks of the season. And also, Dalton, he had a bye week in that stretch too. So it just shows how electric Aiden Hutchinson was as a pass rusher last year. Yes, it was against a lot of below-average tackles during that stretch, but he was beating them like a drum during those first 6 weeks of the season. And he's shown in his past, too, he could be a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate when fully healthy. If he can recover fully from that injury, that's a massive, massive addition to a Lions defense that really, really missed him last year.
I think you could argue the most important injury return of any player in the league.
Yeah.
Because they went from, I believe it was from first in pass rush grade when he was on the field as a team to 27th when he wasn't. I mean, it's just he is their best player. Obviously, they have a great safety duo. I think they have a really good linebacking core emerging, especially with Jack Campbell in the middle. But Aiden Hutchinson coming back is as big an addition to any team as there is, as we've had in the offseason, right? Getting him back healthy. If he looks anything like the Hutchinson we saw for 2023 and the start of 2024, this defense now is really dangerous again.
And if they can get some improved play from their corners, too, it could be even better.
Absolutely. I think I really like what this cornerback room looks like because you've got DJ Reed, who's really been a model of stability, right? You got him in free agency. He's got at least a 70 coverage grade in 6 straight seasons, which when you consider the volatility of cornerback stats and grading and performance, that's really impressive to be that level of stable, knowing, okay, maybe he's not the best corner in the league, a Sauce or Surtain or a guy like that, but you know what you're getting out of DJ Reed on the outside. I think that raises the floor. You get a better year 2 out of Terrion Arnold. He had a coverage grade in the low 50s last year, but he was really thrown in the fire. There was a lot thrown on his plate and a lot of man-to-man coverage. You also have Ennis Rakestraw sitting behind him as a depth piece as well. So I think if you get an improved cornerback room as well, and then you get Hutchinson healthy, you got a really darn good defense. And I think you mentioned Ben Johnson before. The questions about Aaron Glenn not being there as a defense coordinator anymore, I think that's really the biggest factor for this defense, and really on both sides of the ball. When you look at Johnson and Glenn leaving, a new set of coordinators, let's see what type of challenges that brings to the Lions, but they have plenty enough talent to still win the NFC North. They're as good as anybody in football still when it comes to their talent. It's just, to me, the coaching is actually a bigger question than the players on the field.
Yeah, the Lions going for a three-peat in the NFC North, which they've only done one other time in their franchise history, too. So still should have a lot of high hopes for 2025, even with 2 brand new coordinators